jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Man, that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
WCS back at it again on deck with another one. You already know. I need to inform y'all of something, right? Sometimes I don't know the amount of times I'm going to be live each day. So, you know what I'm saying? If I get into a rhythm of knowing, then cool. But sometimes I just be looking at information or people drop me information. I feel, okay, that's something cool to talk about. Definitely. Appreciate the ones who be, sourcing WCS with information that's dealing with the current relatable topics. All right. For the haters that was over there talking shit about me on Champ's House Live, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Y'all crying like little babies, like that, that's my father or something. You can go ahead and snitch all you want and say what you want to say. I can care less. At the topic at hand, though, man, FightHype just put out another fire interview. We're going to take a look at the audio. Man, this is very much what I've been trying to get a hold to myself, to clear up some things when it comes to what happened. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, and this is no shade, right? But interviews like this, you don't have to figure shit out. You know what I'm saying? They give you the information that you need, the details. We're not sitting up here, goddamn, shooting in the dark, trying to figure out timelines and all that. We find out solid points to go off of. This boxing shit, also to include media, is always hocus pocus bullshit. Oh, we can't do this. Or we don't know this. We don't do it. This is a damn good interview. Also, we're going to talk about the cloudy days ahead. Word has it, rumor, that Spence Jr. may be vacating earlier than what we expected. And if that is indeed the case, y'all, it proves that they wasn't trying to make the fight. Because rumor has it that he may be vacating earlier than what we expected. Now you can put the shit together, because pretty much we're waiting on 2023 to come in after Crawford goes in here and step on Avaneysan. He may potentially be, making this decision sooner rather than later. I don't know. But we're going to talk about it, though. It's rumor mill. But I want to get on this interview, like I said, a damn good interview to clear up some things with the Avaneysan. Because like I said, WCS put it out there that all these cats are busy talking about Crawford, but they're not talking about Avaneysan. Avaneysan is the opponent. You know what I'm saying? He's the opponent. And to be honest with you, no one's trying to get in contact and talk to him and ask them questions and stuff like that. So let's just take the diamond that we have so far. This is just audio only, okay? Let's listen to it. It was a damn good interview too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. Appreciate you. Let me get to the chat right quick. Shout out to Mr. Pass on deck. Big Blunts and Boxing on deck. What's good? Hit the like button, subscribe, tap the bell to get the notifications. Appreciate you, Mr. Pass. Big up WCS. We don't mind the live streams. The more the merrier. For sure, for sure. Willie Cole, salute to you. What's good? Got the notification here on time. Hit the like button. Appreciate you for pulling up there, Willie. Team Avaneysan cleared up a lot for me. Yes, sir. That's what I'm saying. Shout out to my guy, Shaw News, the Sauce Experience, aka Showtime, the UGK media marketing agent on deck, man. So let's get this popping, man. Let me share screen right quick. Matter of fact, we're just gonna do the audio. So check out this audio with off a FightHype video. Very, very informative when it comes down to what we've been trying to find out. We've been trying to pull all this in and see how everything played out. I know I keep mentioning, the situation with Terrence and all that. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Unless we hear from Terrence, we're not gonna get anything. We're not gonna find out. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for Blue to be specific on shit. He ain't gonna be specific. I don't have time to be goddamn going around trying to do a whole investigation and trying to find some bloodhounds to damn see can they pick up the trail and shit. No. Tune in.
How exactly did you guys end up getting this fight? It seemed like it came out of left field. Everybody was looking forward to Crawford versus Spence, and then, you guys, it's Crawford versus Avaneysan now. How exactly did it happen?
Just very quickly, mate. It's do you want the fight? Yeah. Queensbury Promotions agreed a few terms. I think if it was to put my opinion on it, I think Crawford's side had got tired and Terence wanted to fight. They haven't disclosed anything, but it was right. We're moving on from the obvious fight, what everyone's discussing. Do you want this fight? Damn right we do. David's starving. It's an easy fight to make. David's not a pay-per-view star, so there's no big obstacles. Frank Warren's just happy to deliver the fight. I, as a manager, is happy to deliver the fight. So it's an easy fight to make when you've got two teams who want it very, very quickly. So we was already in training for the fight. We was already in a training camp in the UK. So once they came on, and with a very proactive demand, it's 48 hours or we move on to another opponent, that's like music to my ears, because that's how I prefer to do business rather than it taking weeks. So, and here we are, we've announced.
So did you hear him? They asked him, and they was pretty much saying the timeline, which I've been asking for the Terrence Crawford situation with Blue and all that. We can't find out any of it. They said 48 hours. You know what I'm saying? 48 hours, boom, snap. They're tying this shit all together to make it happen. He said that's the way he like it. And stay tuned for what he said about the EBU title too.
Was there any preliminary talks while Spence versus Crawford was going on?
No, not at all. Not at all. A few people's asking, a few people's looking for something what's not there. I put a tweet out to Leonard Ellaby and Errol Spence. I know it's not what you guys want to hear, but Terence hasn't played the fool. It's, we're here. There's been...
So pretty much what this guy's saying, Team Avaneysan is saying that they didn't play the field. Terrence didn't play the field, rather. Team Crawford did not play the field. He did not play the field. He did not play the field. What that means is he wasn't reaching out to Team Avaneysan while negotiation process was going on between him and Spence. He was strictly focused on the negotiations with Spence until he became exhausted. Once became exhausted, whenever that time frame is, guess what? He went elsewhere, and they happened to be the one that was able to be presented with a deal of a lifetime. And look, they even go into detail on it being the biggest paycheck that David will ever make in his career. So not only did they close this deal out quickly, you know what I'm saying, which was beneficial. Hey, it happened with a big purse in a short period of time, and they're clarifying some areas. Terrence Crawford was not playing the field and talking to David Avaneysan like a lot of people are assuming and trying to place accusations on them.
We talked before about Terence. When our contract expired with Matchroom, I think Terence was with Top Rank, and there was preliminary talks there. We'd accepted an offer then. I've just got a funny feeling Terence likes the idea of David as a routine takeover fight, which worry you to make sure it's not.
How fast did it take for the deal to materialize? A few days, a few weeks, hours? How long did it take?
40, no more than 48 hours.
Wow.
And I was my lawyer was doing Tyson Fury and Chisora. He's the same lawyer. I was mithering him. Queensbury were up late at night. I was up late at night, and we got it done. To be honest, it was the pleasure to deal with. The contract what was sent was honest. It wasn't like dealing with some promoters who want to tie you upside down, left to right, and our changes was honest as well. So that you know, it was easy, mate. It was when an easy contract comes, just a clean contract. There's not tons of work to do on it, if you get what I mean. So we was able to get it over the line so quickly.
So you heard them say they was able to get it off the line so quickly. It was a clean contract. That means it was opposite of what Terrence Crawford was experiencing with the PBC. And he appreciates that. You can hear it in his voice that the contract was clean. It was straight to the point. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really have to think they was going to get stressed out trying to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? It was a no-brainer to make this shit happen. And kudos to the BLK, BLK Prime people, whoever that was handling this contract and everything, because they definitely had their people involved, along with Terrence Crawford people, and they made this shit happen in a short period of time in 48 hours. But yet we got people on here talking about 5 or 6 months, talking about debating this, debating that, debating this, debating that. They made this shit happen in 48 hours because it was two parties involved that truly wanted to fight.
You just said that, it took you guys only 48 hours. You also said that, when two fighters really want to fight, it's not that hard to make the fight, man. So,
100%.
So just in your view, I know you're not privy exactly to how negotiations were going between Spence and Crawford, but how surprising was it for you that the fight just fell apart completely?
I don't know, because obviously I was reading it, and let's take my management hat off. I was really looking forward to that fight and paying attention to the 147 division, because I've been banging on that many doors to get David an opportunity what we just can't get. And once them two were fighting, it was like you then put your fans hat on, and I'm looking at them and thinking that's a great fight. And there was nothing in the media which is out the norm. It's like you look at the history of Pacquiao and Mayweather, how many times they try to do that. Recently, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. You expect all the toing and throwing and the false media and people saying A, B, and C, and the other saying E, F, and G. So I didn't pay any attention, and I wasn't surprised or not surprised. It was I wasn't asked, if you get what I mean. It's not something I looked at it in any context. It was, well, we're not going to get that. We'd moved on quite a while ago from the prospect of getting near any of the world title belts. Hence why we tried to do a final eliminator for David. We thought we'd always have to force something.
David was initially supposed to fight, I believe, somewhere in November. But obviously the Crawford fight happened, so you guys are just like, hey, let's get this Crawford fight. You know what I mean? But for a little while, at least on BoxRec, David was scheduled to fight both guys in November and December. Did it take you guys?
No.
Did it take you guys a little bit of while to kind of figure out, okay, let's move our November fight to another date or some other time and just
No.
Crawford fight? Okay.
No, we didn't have time to think like that. All it was is the offer came in off Terrence's people. We sent an email immediately to the European Boxing Union, and we said, listen, there's been an offer come in. As we speak, we are going to be fighting November, I think it was November 16 and 19, I think it was, against Miguez in a defence of the European title. We said, we're just being transparent with you. We're letting you know the situation. Being honest, I was a little bit worried because I thought, you're dealing with a company you don't know. Are they playing the fool, as in get you sign a contract to put a bit of pressure on Al Haymon or something? So it was like too good to be true. It was like, hang on. But once the contract came, once it was all agreed, we vacated the EBU title immediately. It was all done in 2 days. Not that I need to prove anything to anyone. It's all done by email. And I'm sure if anyone from the EBU speak, they'll confirm that. It was just
So he's talking about them um, vacating the EBU title that was on the line if he was to fight in November over across the pond, him being David Avaneysan, right? So you see how he's speaking, so fluently. You know what I'm saying? He's speaking so fluently about how they did business. He's getting straight to the point. This is what I'm talking about being in the business and understand what you're talking about, because he was a part of it. He's telling us, that's all I'm asking of the situation, dealing with the other side of YouTube, not to continue to mention names. This guy is answering the question. He's not hesitant. He's not sitting up here trying to process and tell a story. It's levels to this shit. This guy saying, it happened via email. We went in there and told them we're going to be transparent with you, and this is what we got. We got an offer, and pretty much everything happened where the ball started to roll. They vacated the EBU title. They let them know they had they had another offer, and he even said it himself. He was a little bit skeptical about going with a organization that he's not familiar with, and I can understand that, because I'm not totally sure how much he was getting paid, David, in that last fight. But when it comes down to it, obviously it wasn't enough more than what he was going to get paid with the offer that Crawford then was presenting to him. So they felt like, hey, we're gonna clear everything over here, expunge everything, and we're gonna focus on this fight with Terrence Crawford, of course, because the money looks better than what we had. And it's a much bigger fight and exposure for David Avaneysan.
Done very quickly. We're never going to keep the EBU as per rules. We'd love to keep it in case something goes wrong against Crawford, but that's not the way it happens. So we vacated the belt immediately, and there's been an announcement today that they've ordered 2 more challenges. So the idea of fighting November and December, there was no clause in the contract that said we couldn't fight before, if I remember rightly, but you wouldn't take the chance in case of injury or anything to fight a water tune-up fight 4 weeks before. Terrence Crawford is a chance of a lifetime. It was always going to be one fight. That's it. Once Crawford's people came on, it was one or the other.
Since this is the opportunity of a lifetime, you don't have to say specific numbers. I don't think but would you say that this is going to be David's career high purse?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And was that simple enough? This is going to be his career high purse. Okay, we don't really have the numbers, but it still satisfies our curiosity. Is it his career high purse? It satisfies our curiosity because we know nothing about it. This is the most information I've found out about the entire progress, like a lot of us. This is the most information that we've heard, getting straight to the point and covering the wickets of this short 48-hour negotiation. What is so difficult about this shit, man? Either you're going to tell us how it went down, just like this guy, or we're going to continue to be curious, man.
Also, wanted to ask, it will be on BLK Prime, fairly new to the scene. The whole general public kind of knows them now because of this whole situation. But in your view, is a part of you maybe just a bit nervous because they are a little bit new? Do you feel 100% confident that this fight will in fact happen on December 10th without a doubt?
Yeah, 100%. We do certain due diligence, but let's look over the last 5-6 years. We'll look at Frank Warren. BT Sport came into boxing. Now BT Sport are absolutely smashing it. Prior to that, DAZN came into boxing and absolutely threw bucket loads of money. So there's always a new entity that's coming into boxing. Now all I can do as a manager is contractually protect myself. Now, you've got to look at Terrence. He's an experienced guy. He wouldn't have signed for this fight if he thought there was any doubt. I've got Frank Warren behind me, who's an Hall of Fame promoter. He's seen it all. You can only take the people on face value and contractually protect yourselves, and that's what we've done. We are very satisfied with the contract. To be honest, the other party, like I said, was very clean and honest with us. There's no maliciousness going on. They're coming into boxing, and I think they mean business. And
Showtime, do you see what I'm saying, bro? Everybody that's in the chat, do you see how quickly this man is clearing up, answering these questions, and giving us the answers that we want to hear. You know what I'm saying? He's making it clear that he's confident this fight is going to happen. He's making it perfectly clear that he's confident. He say, as a manager, I have to protect myself. This guy's not a novice to this. He's been here before. He says he has Frank Warren behind him. So he's telling us the big names that's backing him. So that means they're making their security. You know what I'm saying? They're making their security known. They're asking questions. They got people on the phone calls. You know what I'm saying? They're not leaving no uncertainty. It's levels, bro. This guy is up here having a dialogue and he's checking the boxes off with the questions. It ain't no, oh, it was a surprise and I ain't have to. No, fuck that, bro. We want to know the answers. We want to know how all this was going down. Speak to people like this is professional. A professional type of position that you have, you know, professionals that you're dealing with. This is not a motherfucking murder mystery. This is not the land of the fucking lost, man. This is not going out looking for dinosaur fossils. We want to goddamn know what the fuck is going on. That's it. And this guy's answering the questions and giving us what we want to know. Quick, straight to the point, simple.
If Terence Crawford is the type of fighter they're going to start putting on the platform, you've got to take your hat off and welcome him with both hands.
Very true. Will David or will all of you guys, Team Avaneysan, will you guys receive a percentage of the pay-per-view split, the pay-per-view revenue or anything like that, or no?
No, nothing at all. We've got to appreciate where we are. We're just an opponent. We're not a mandatory challenger. We're not a pay-per-view star. Unfortunately for David, he did lose nearly 5 years ago in America. And, you know, he lost twice in America. So David's name wasn't as big as it should be. Since then, everybody knows what David's done in the UK and everybody's seen his improvement. And David's twice the fighter he was them days. So for us to start commanding a percentage of a pay-per-view with our history in the US, you know, we haven't got a leg to stand on. So the answer's no.
See, this guy is proving that this is not his first rodeo. I appreciate how he's being very concise with his answers. He's letting us know, man. He said, I'm not going to push the envelope any further than what it needs to be. I'm not going to try to fold it, make an extra fold in it as if it's going to bring more attention. He said, no, we don't have a leg to stand on to really sit up here and make these negotiations heavier than what they need to be. We're just happy to be able to be the opponent and get the highest purse of David's career. I appreciate that. I respect that shit. This is no motherfucking mystery. You know what I'm saying? This is not an unidentified goddamn flying object, man. This is information back and forth, and he's speaking as if he's been here, done that, knowledgeable, and he's telling the listeners what it all boils down to. It's good shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Why should we try to be greedy? We're not here to be greedy. You know what I'm saying? He basically told y'all that they canceled the other fight. They wouldn't be defending the title, vacated. Now we focus on Crawford. And he goes into detail about negotiation process where, hey, the offer was given to them. They took it. They wasn't going to overstep their boundaries. They're satisfied, signed the contract. They know they won the pay-per-view star. We are satisfied, period.
You know, there are a lot of people that are saying that, you know, obviously they're disappointed, but they also look at David, and granted, you know, he's turned his career around. He's reeled off 6 wins in a row, all by knockout. Crawford has also said that as well. You know, this guy's a real fighter. But other people are saying that, you know, David did lose by knockout to Mean Machine, a guy that Crawford ended up knocking out. So, you know, what are kind of your thoughts on that, making it seem as though David is not worthy of this shot right now?
Completely disagree. I've said on previous interviews over the years that it takes 4 years to develop a fighter from scratch, his debut, to a world-class fighter. I think in the current climate, many fighters are being rushed. Now, over the last 4 years, David's developed. Now, he was already at a good starting point. And for people say, oh, well, he lost to him and different things, yeah, we take our hat off. David was a light welterweight at the time. He's now a fully pledged welterweight. He's fully committed, and the guy's dangerous. And I'll put my whole reputation on it. This isn't going to be a one-round knockout. Terence Crawford, if he doesn't keep his eye on the ball, you're going to see what happens. This is too big of a prize, and David Avaneysan is a dangerous man. And you'll see. And actions speak louder than words. And don't forget, you've just said it yourself. A lot of people are disappointed in Spence and Crawford. So we're in the aftermath of that. Then you get rival promoters who are mixing bottles. Then you get people who don't understand that, for example, styles make fights.
He said Crawford and Spence was a disappointment. He said the Crawford and Spence negotiation was a disappointment. He said we're in the aftermath of that, which they are. They're in the aftermath, but it's almost like the storm passing over, and then the sun starts to radiate, right? You see the sun break through the clouds and everything. I think this is what it was for Team Crawford too, along with David. I think with Team Crawford, they had a thought process going on as far as where this wasn't going. Okay, where it wasn't going. And what I mean by that, they wanted to get the shit signed and fight this year. That's what he always said. But I think it got to a point with Team Crawford that they felt like it was all for nothing, because it never was going to come to a resolution to the point where everything was going to be resolved, and now we're going to make the announcement and get it in. It was already 2 failed announcements out here, July 4th and September 4th. 2 badly failed announcements that didn't make any sense over the YTC. 2 failed months. 2 failed months that look bad, because so many of us reported on the freaking months, but it wasn't even close to the fight being reported that they had both signed. Nobody was telling that they both signed. We heard both agreed. Now the attorneys have to look over and all this other shit. But I think the sun broke the clouds. Team Crawford felt that it was the perfect time to step away, redirect their attention to the BLK request or whatever. Now we're gonna stand, patiently and wait for the days to pass and see what December presents. You know what I'm saying? See if they're able to pull this out. See what the promotion looked like. Hey, we got a long ways to go, man, to see how this plays out. We wishing BLK Prime nothing but the best. But like I'm telling y'all, I would rather channels be interviewing the team of Avaneysan or Crawford rather than going back and forth between us. This ain't conducive to the media. FightHype up here interviewing the team, whether it be Terence Crawford or Avaneysan.
Situations, circumstances. We're very happy in the UK, and everybody in the UK will say the same, that David deserves this shot. But it's not America. And, just have a bit of trust in us as a team. We're not coming for a payday. We're coming for the next payday after Crawford. Because first thing we'll do is we will be doing big money fights on the back of it if we pull it off. We know Terence is a pound-for-pound star. We know how hard it is. But just trust us. This isn't what some bitter, malicious, jealous people are saying it is. And please don't judge a fighter on performances 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Come on, guys. Anyone who's got half a brain about boxing knows a lot of improvement can happen over 4 years, 5 years.
I'm glad he said that. This coach says a lot of improvement that can happen over 4 to 5 years. Well, that's funny, because every time I hear a debate about Crawford, they always bringing up Yurkis Gamboa that happened damn near 8 to 9 years ago. But this man, anybody who has half a brain can understand that a fighter can improve 4 to 5 years. But yet, they always talking about what Gamboa did, but they never want to mention how many times he was looking at the canvas and the fight being stopped. See, it's levels to people when they provide you information. People who are trying to be the star of everything, we don't have time to troubleshoot this shit no more. If you're going to give us the information, hand it to us. Just like this guy's doing. Hand it to us. Let us hear it. Let's go. That's why I say it's levels. A lot of other people that deal like Showtime here understand it's levels to people handling business on a higher tier. Questions are asked, questions are answered. We don't have time to be understanding which magician that we dealing with. Is it going to be Blaine or Copperfield? Is Houdini back? We don't have time for these magic shows on YouTube. We want the goddamn straight answers.
100%. I definitely do think that David is definitely a very good fighter. Crawford, like you said, he's a pound for pound level guy, but there has been a lot of criticism surrounding his resume. He fought an older Kell Brook, probably didn't fight a prime Sean Porter. So, people are always kind of judging his resume and saying, hey, he hasn't fought anyone. Would you consider David to be his toughest fight, at least on paper, until he officially gets in there?
Right, I've got to be careful because I don't want to disrespect Kell Brook, for example, because I've got a lot of respect for Dominic Ingle, I've got a lot of respect for Kell Brook. But I remember David's had absolutely brutal wars a couple of years ago with Kell Brook, broke his rib, put him out of a fight. So documented all over the media in the UK. Then you look at Sean Porter. If you ask me genuinely who would win, I know Porter's retired, but who would win with Porter and David now? I would be saying that David wins the fight every day of the week, and I'd have no concern about it. So what I'm saying is, on David's current ability, his form, I think David could beat Kell and could beat Sean Porter. So that could potentially answer it itself. And just wait till the fight. Wait till December 10th. We're happy everybody's overlooking us. We're happy. You carry on overlooking my little dangerous beast. And the kid's starving. He just wants his chance. He's not took him in the past. He's going to take this one.
Would you say that this is like the perfect time? Because Crawford has fought a bunch of mandatories. Probably would have like 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever, build up the fight, train, things of that nature. But it's about 7 weeks or so, maybe a little bit more or less, for the fight between you guys. And then also you have, he was so focused on the Spence fight, the whole world was focused on it. And now he has to kind of turn his attention towards you guys. When you guys fight completely different. So do you guys think you're catching Crawford at a good time? Like, he might not be paying too much attention. We can go in there and catch him.
I don't think Terence Crawford gets where he has by overlooking people and taking his foot off the gas in any way, shape or form.
Once again, did you hear how he explained that? If you take a person from channel to channel on here, and ask an individual that's just, really don't have no connection to what that question really meant. They would just be biased according to what fighter they favor, and they'll tell you some bullshit. At the end of the day, is he overlooking David Avaneysan is a totally different style than Errol Spence? Oh my God, he's gonna have to think about that. And then you flip the script and say, well, that can go the same for David Avaneysan, because Crawford definitely is going to be the tougher opponent that you ever stepped in the ring with. But he explained it so well. He said he don't believe Crawford is the type of fighter that's going to overlook a fighter or anything. That's what we've been saying for a long time. This man stays in the gym. He stays ready. Whenever he makes the adjustment, he makes them clearly. There's no half step. And he's taking a full step and making that adjustment and see what happens. He collects the data and then he executes. So I like how this guy just put it out there and gave Crawford his respect and saying, I don't think he's that type of boxer who's out here just making reckless decisions. Impulsively.
Well, you've said a good point. Maybe you're looking more at the Spence fight. As for 7 weeks, I think if the way it looked in the media from the UK, he was already in preparation for a fight. So I don't think, and he'd have probably been training harder than ever for Errol Spence, if he could possibly do. His inactivity, I think that'll help. David's form, that'll help. If it's rumoured he's getting paid a shitload of money, excuse my language, is it that big of a loss to him losing Errol Spence? I can only read what you read. I'm not privy to anything. But if he was getting 15 mil for Errol Spence and getting 10 for David, is it that big of a loss for Terence? Let's say it how it is. That's it. So Listen, you're fighting someone who's regarded in the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world. He's not going to take his eye off David. I think he might have misjudged David's ability, but he has said in an interview that David's a beast and he's dangerous. So maybe I'm just wishful thinking and hoping he does misjudge him.
How confident? I know you're going to be extremely confident. That's your guy. But how confident are you that David pulls this off? And how do you kind of see the fight playing out? Do you see David catching him? Because David has stopped his last 6 opponents. Do you think he can actually stop Terence Crawford?
Right. If David's got absolutely brutal world-class power now, what he never had. If we catch him, it's over. Can we catch him? He's a slick southpaw, counter-puncher. I don't know. The answer is I don't know. But we're going to find out. We have got one chance of beating Terence Crawford. And excuse me terminology, but a lot of respect for Terence. His team have been fantastic. We have got to smash him to pieces and hope we get through. And that's it. So let me tell you something. If you're a boxing pundit, you expect Terence Crawford to win on points or stop David Lay. That's what everybody thinks. But we've got to change that. We've got to take him out 100%, and that's it. And I'm under no illusion. Not that many people have hurt Terence Crawford, but we have to hurt him. We have to find a way to hurt. But if we hurt him, he's gone. That's simple as. It's I've got so much trust in David's power and his punching power. If he catches Terence, it's a different fight, man. And do we need a bit of luck on the night? Of course we do. Are we saying that we're going to knock him out and we're going to do this? No, but we're going to give it one hell of a go. And you American fight fans will have 10 times more respect for David Avaneysan after this fight. And just trust me on that.
Gotcha.
I mean, how simple is that, man? Real talk. How simple is that? That's good shit. Hold on for a second. Okay, I'm back. So he worded that so perfectly. You know what I'm saying? He did this interview to the point where even at the end, he ain't trying to build the fight up. He's keeping it classy. You know what I'm saying? Nothing fancy and over the top. He's saying, hey, we're going to go in there and give it all we got. You know what I'm saying? People have a lot more respect for us after the fight is over with. He's not really jumping out on a limb to say, yeah, we know we're going to hurt him. We know we have potential to stop him. We know we got something that Terence Crawford never seen before, so he has to prepare for us and just talking crazy. They're not doing that. He's pretty much explained the way we want to hear it. Everything that we're curious about, we hearing it via FightHype from Team Avaneysan on how all this shit played out. Have we been able to get that through with the YTC and whatever Blue's talking about? No. I'm tired. I'm going to speak for me. I'm tired of the hocus pocus shit in boxing, and I definitely don't have time to hear it on YouTube. Nobody wants to know that you can keep a secret and let us in on certain bits and pieces of information. You're not giving us any more informative type of action that we're looking for than we can on our own. If you're going to be attached to something of this magnitude, stop fucking telling us about the numbers and tell us the information. You don't have to go into details. Like in this interview, they didn't go into details of the contract about how much is Avaneysan being paid. But he told us enough for us to be like, okay. He said, well, Terence Crawford, he's supposed to get $15 million with Spence, but if he gets 10 million for this fight, is he really losing out? You know what I'm saying? He's giving us a ballpark. He's confirming some shit that we've been searching for and going around here asking questions over and over again and can't get the answers to. You know, he's telling us shit. That's all we ask. We don't want to hear this bullshit. We don't want to hear, I can't say this, I can't say that. Well, we talk over here, yada, 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 et cetera, and we talk here. They didn't know this. It was a surprise. We're done with all of that. At this point in time, all we want to know is media shit. We want to know if you're linking up an interview, who you talking to, and what they got to say. All this, y'all should be appreciative. I'm even telling y'all this information. If you either media or you're not.
Contractually, is David obligated to give Terrence an immediate rematch? I'm assuming, but is that in the contract?
We don't want to speak about contractual things, really, mate. It's all confidential.
Gotcha, no problem. Well,
Was that difficult? It's all confidential.
let's just say everything works out perfectly in your favor. And, you know, David pulls off the upset and he beats Terrence. Is the plan for you guys to immediately, you know, kind of take his spot and then move into an Errol Spence showdown for all the marbles, man?
Yeah, listen, we're not planning about what's next. Every boxing fan knows what position David will be in if we win that fight. And listen, this is too big of a fight to start saying what's next. We've got one goal. We don't care about anyone else, anything else. What's going to happen after? We care about one thing, December 10th. And now we're going to act that man down. And that's it. And you know, we're going to fly sparring partners in. We're going to spend money on it. There's some fantastic Great Britain kids about. We're going to be prepared, mate. We really are. And unfortunately, David's very, very, very fit at the start of this camp. So, you know, rather than going on about the camps and that, forget what's plan B. What's the next phase? We've got one task, and that's Terence Crawford.
So that concludes the interview. Shout out to FightHype. You know what I'm saying, for the audio and the interview. Let me bring something up with y'all again. All right. Shout out to BBB. You know what I'm saying? He dropped this through while we was on live from Bomac. And you reading what that mean. You reading what that mean. It ain't no shade. None of that shit. He just basically said, I'm listening to every word you're saying. Can't wait to meet you. Nothing to read into, nothing to assume, none of that. But I like it because Bomac speaks out. A lot of people don't hear from Bomac. He's in the shade. These dudes are always up here talking shit about him, you know, because they don't like Crawford. They despise of him. Guess what? There go a little snippet, you know what I'm saying, to all you that always talking shit about him. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't get an interview or whatever the case may be. There you go right there. He told him, I'm listening to you. Can't wait to meet you. Nothing shady. That's what it is. I like it. I like it. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Big Blunts and Boxing for dropping that gem. You know what I'm saying? While I was on live, I appreciate you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the ones who be dropping that info to WCS, man, so I can speak on it. Also, before I transition over to the Errol Spence situation, I want to give a big shout out to that team over in NYC. You know, it's been a great opportunity learning a lot more about the team as they move and everything like that. You know, with Shaw News, and this in a sense, he can speak on it now. You know what I'm saying? Since it's out, this is Jahad Tucker, 9-0 welterweight. He is a rising welterweight. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I had to insert him in the transition because he is fighting on the Teofimo Lopez undercard, December 10th. the same day we're going to see Crawford and Avaneysan. You feel me? You know, this is one of the rising hitters in the welterweight division and a future world champion. Once all these belts are dispersed, you know what I'm saying, give a tape. I can't give a timeline. But check this out. The man's been fighting under the bright lights ever since he split the ropes. As a professional, his debut was under the bright lights. His debut was under the bright lights, people. I've seen the team, how they transition this and that. I can confirm that Showtime, regardless of what the views are on his channel on YouTube, his presence in boxing far exceeds a lot of channels in what they contribute to the sport of boxing. Real talk. For real, for real. That's why I always said when people act like they don't know him or they disrespect him or they try to say, oh, ain't nobody tuned in to the channel. You know, he got like 5 people. Guess what? Jay Prince will say otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Coach Tucker, his pops will say otherwise. Jahad say otherwise. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the team, man. This finally released. That is Jahad Tucker, December 10th, Saturday. MSG, for real, on deck. MSG is on deck again. That's going to be a fire-ass card, man. That's going to be a fire-ass card, bro. Let's get it popping. So, what's next? We want to talk about another big, question. JoJo on deck, what's good? Don Vaughn, salute to you. He says, salute the way we know Bud doesn't overlook his opponent if he gets them out quickly, if they don't belong in the ring with him. Crawford always wants to do his best. Hall of Fame shit. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. If they were going to give $15 million to fight Spence and $10 million to fight David, I'm fighting David. LOL, I don't care about what fans want. I'm taking less risks all day. Makes the most sense to me. I look at it this way, Blunts. When you say risk, when it's all said and done, I don't believe one bit that Crawford took the fight with Avaneysan due to risk. Now, when it comes to physical risk, when we talk about boxer to boxer, that's what I'm speaking on. All right? I don't think he took the fight because he has less of a risk than fighting Errol Spence. But if we're talking about the risk and stand buckled in or grounded and the negotiation process is not going anywhere, I say, yeah, that's what he was. Crawford Spence, he was at risk of squandering the remaining part of 2022, the remaining months, and getting nowhere. Seeing hopefully and everything else, oh, I hope this happens, I hope that happened, and still wondering what's going to play out. With this, I can say he probably felt a bit more comfortable, especially with the numbers and also with the opponent he had. They're not linked up to PBC. We're talking about Frank Warren. So the relationship might have been a lot more cordial and respectful and professional. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to Bud Crawford team and Team Avaneysan. It was a whole lot of red tape that they didn't have to deal with. So in that perspective, I feel, he had minimal risk transitioning over to focus on David Avaneysan and getting that shit done in 48 hours. Salute to them. Salute to them. He's still getting 10 out of it, if that's the grand number. Blue Blood's a straight grandstander. He wants to be the star. I just get tired of hearing, I'll tell you what I want you to know, and I did this, this, and this, and this. They didn't know. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired. I want to know the planning process. All the stuff we did in the military, we definitely let the people know what's coming up. We had to pre-plan. We had to have meeting pre-ops. We just didn't well, I'm not letting somebody know I'm coming over there. Well, the person that you're coming over to see may not be there. Let them know so it can be more prepared. They know you en route and all this. I mean, we tired of hearing, I did this secretly. Man, you ain't dealing with a bunch of kids just looking for a surprise and shit. This is grown-ass people on a social media network that want to hear information now. We ain't got time to be down acting like you doing something that never been done in life. The fuck, bro? Like, we tired of that shit. WCS, I laughed so hard watching your previous show earlier when you mentioned the homeless shelter reception. Yeah, man, that shit was hilarious, man. Hearing that shit to me, for real, that shit was hilarious. The man, Mr. Toby, salute. Champ Ross on that, salute to you, brother. What is this? Jihad's 4th or 5th fight at the MSG? Kind of insane. Yeah, man, it is, man. He's fighting at the MSG like it's cool. You know what I'm saying? He's fighting under the bright lights like it's cool. He's fought the MSG and the Hulu Theater. One on deck. Salute to you, Travis Bryan. What up? Toby, what up, champ? Did you get Mr. Pass? Okay. Risk financially? Okay. They're not trying to show him the books, and Rick said they were going to fuck him by offering low money and no transparency. Okay, I got you. On books, I'm sure Bud ain't worried about physical risk for sure. Yeah, I totally agree with that aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? A lot more lucid when we talking about, yeah, the financial risk. Okay. With this deal, I don't have to ask to see the books. I don't have to see, can I approve expenses? Because we know damn well what these Spencerholics are overlooking on purpose. It's the fact that his last 4 opponents didn't have to go through the rigors of negotiation like this. But he does. Crawford had to. And look, truth be told, he's not the only boxer to freaking ask to see the books. But just because it's Terrence Crawford, yeah, it's a big fucking deal. Because they trying to goddamn make it as rough as they possibly can for him to close out this deal. So it was probably a huge relief for him to redirect his focus into a different organization, different number financially, okay? But at the end of the day, he was able to close it out with a lot less stress. Shout out to Team Crawford for that. Look, he can sign 1,000 fighters. Cool. Have no problem with that. Never did. My only problem was something long before that, and then what's caused me to speak on it is that you try to explain to people in this community how to act. Like in the Marines, they always tell us, you're a Marine 24 hours. So if you're in civilian attire and you're on liberty, conduct yourself as such. That's what they tell us. I know civilian pop is different. I get it. But if you plan on showing up to fights, if you plan on covering fights or trying to get a fighter on your platform, you can't be saying, fuck this fighter, fuck that fighter. We don't give her that. And just talking all stupid. It makes no sense to believe that you're going to elevate yourself. It don't matter who you connected to. If you got people that's tearing down the primary fighter that you're signing on, that you supposedly connecting and saying you're facilitating him signing on and going through all the logistics with BLK Prime, I would tell whoever else that I'm connected to, I say, you need to fall back with that. You need to digress. We ain't doing that. We gotta get on the level of professionalism, because you know what, BLK Prime is planning on signing some other big names too. We have to chill. That's real talk. We have to chill with this bashing Crawford energy that you got. Going at team members. You can't do it. And if Blue doesn't have enough intestinal fortitude to cut them motherfuckers off, that's ruining his image when it comes to him levitating and making a different move in the game, then I don't know what to tell you. Real talk, I don't know what to tell you, because that's going to need to happen. You can't bring everybody along for the ride. And you definitely can't have hitchhikers goddamn tagging along, and all they do is, oh shit, he's close to the destination. Let me flatten this tire. They goddamn flatten that tile and make it a longer process than what it need to be. Cooking with Surf Senior, what's good? Facts. 48 hours is an awesome time period to make the fight. Man, they zipped that up real nice, didn't they, Senior? They zipped that shit up real nice. They got it over and done with, bro. We ain't got no hocus pocus. We don't have time for no damn magic shows in this bitch. We adults, man. We want to hear. Tell us what you can tell us. Get down to the point. You know what I'm saying? Get down to the point. I think Blue is the unnamed spokesperson Dan Raphael was mentioned in the audio I posted last night. Yeah, man. And you know what? Matter of fact, let me play that audio you're talking about too. Let me play that audio since you mentioned it. Let me play that audio.
What PBC's side had said to me very clearly, we think we have an agreement with Crawford. We have sent him paperwork that we think has reflected the changes that were asked to be made, that he should be good to go. And if he signs that contract, we will go on February 4th. Now, it turned out that that was not the case because he didn't make the Avaneysan fight with the snap of a finger overnight. Clearly, he's had, again, my sources tell me that Terrence Crawford had that supposed final draft of an agreement sitting with him and his people since about October the 6th. Obviously, if he's announcing the David Avaneysan fight when he did, he sat on that contract. They went through the issues and all the laundry list of things to do to make the Avaneysan fight. They made their deal with this streaming service to do the event. And I found it highly unusual that in the press release that I read, they never named the promoter of the card. It was just, the quote was a spokesman from the streaming service, which they didn't even name the person or put a contact name for the streaming service. It was just a really very strange. I mean, I'm sorry, I've been doing this for a long time, and maybe it's all on the up and up, but my bullshit antenna radar was going off like crazy when I read that.
I can't be mad at the way he worded that. He used unusual and strange. What's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? Unusual and strange. But at the end, he said my bullshit, radar went off. Hey, I ain't mad at him. That's what I'm trying to do away with, the bullshit radar. Man, we tired of the bullshit radar. Just get straight to the point. But that, shout out to Blunts and Boxing, dropping that to me the other day. Appreciate you, brother. You know what I'm saying? That was Dan Raphael on that audio. Hope I never participated in it. Sir Ken on deck. Salute to you, brother. Said WCS salute. Salute to the wrenches and salute to the chat. Smash the like button. Says Sir Ken, man. Appreciate you, Ken, for pulling up as always. If you're getting a set purse guaranteed, you don't need to see the books. But if you're getting a 0%, you definitely got to know what's going on for sure. 100%. I feel there was a reason why Terrence Crawford wanted to see the books. He's not the first boxer to be placed in a situation where he's unsure where certain amounts of his money is going to be coming from, especially if it deals with the majority. You know what I'm saying? And it comes with restrictions. You got to filter through the shit and do good business. We can't sit up here and rant and rave and talk about boxing as a business all the time. And then when a situation arises like this, we act like he don't supposed to do the verification process. Just sit there like a good little boy and be stupid. No, you don't. You ask questions, man. You try to dig around. You know what I'm saying? This is right for this, right? I'm getting this, that, and that. Well, okay. The approval process, can I approve expenses? That might be a little bit outside the boundaries and cause people to think and scratch their head. Because if they really don't have any intent in giving you free reign, they're going to do as much as they can to shut shit you want down. Any request dealing with verification, they're going to shut it down. So they're going to say, hey, well, can I see the books? You can't see the books. How dare you? It's not like I'm the first person to ask to see the books. You're making this arrangement for me, but yet you acting like I cannot take a step further in my defense to verify some things. I want to make sure I'm getting paid what I'm supposed to. That's it. Blue might be the new LB in the works. Stop it, bro. Stop it. Let me tell you something, champ. Let's go back in the day. Leonard Ellaby used to have on a freaking team jacket. He was carrying that spit bucket. Okay? Ellaby at one point in time was carrying a spit bucket. He was rings, he was with the team. He was right out there, he was carrying a spit bucket. So people might say what they want from Ellaby, but he used to be carrying a spit bucket. Now he's wearing these custom suits and everything. It is what it is, man. You ain't gonna be able to please everybody in this sport. You know, people don't know your story unless you tell them. If you got the casual fans coming on and people telling me, oh, that's so and so right there. But if they don't really go in detail as to where you came from and how you got it, they just gonna take what they know now and run with it. That's it. The role of a spokesperson is to communicate information the public wants or needs. True words. True words. Put it in a search engine and ask what a spokesperson is. I love going to their goddamn posting them definitions, bro. Was Dan Raphael at the buffet court when doing this interview? I don't know, bro. I just know one time when I seen him in Vegas, bro, I spoke to him dead to his face and he did not say anything. You know what I'm saying? So I said, cool. Ain't no problem. You know what I'm saying? Big Dan only got in his 50s that wears 2 Velcro straps. According to the reports, Dan is endorsed by Uber Eats. Yum, goddammit. Yum. Every time Blue got a cigar, he needs to carry a spit bucket. For real. That's as close to Leonard as you're going to get. Look, I'll tell these niggas, right? Just because I don't agree with you saying don't mean I won't tune in to what you have to say some of the time. Not all the time, but some of the time. Some people, it's pointless to waste my life listening to what they have to say because it's not getting anywhere. It may be a subliminal live, or it may they're not even doing media, they're just taking shots at people. It's so elementary. You feel me? It's just so elementary. But dealing with this interview we just heard, man, they got straight to the point. They gave us the information, man. They gave us some very, very conducive information because we haven't been able to get any answers. We didn't get answers with AB. We didn't get answers with Terrence Crawford. We got some answers about Avaneysan. Now, the difficulty is that FightHype had to do it. You know what I'm saying? All these people is going around and people want to build up the Joneses. Oh, I'm rolling this way. It's all about $1 million this. FightHype didn't say none of that shit. FightHype is up here interviewing the coaches, the intricate role players, the team. They're giving you the true scoop. No, it took 48 hours. Did you go over there and is it a rematch in here? Well, I'm not going over contractual details. But he also let us know that David Avaneysan is getting paid the biggest purse of his career. He did let us know they was able to get the deal completed within 48 hours. You know what I'm saying? They was just marking off everything. You know what I'm saying? He even gave us like an overlay on what the team is thinking, what they think of Crawford, and what they believe the fight is going to go. You know what I'm saying? How they going to come into the fight, what they think of Crawford. You know what I'm saying? They even put a little bit of, machismo in there saying, hey, we have an opportunity to go on him making this very competitive. He's hitting unbelievably right now. You know what I'm saying? That loss he had was 4 or 5 years ago. He's a much better fighter than that. He also said it takes around 4 years to develop a fighter. You know, all those details, bro. That's what I'm talking about. So let me get the L Spence, man. So I heard, scuttlebutt, and whenever you hear scuttlebutt, that's rumor mill, same thing. Scuttlebutt. Scuttlebutt was on the conveyor belt, like it is a lot in the YTC. So, I kind of heard. I can neither confirm any of this as far as exactly that it's going to happen. But I did hear potentially Errol Spence may vacate sooner than what we believe. Now this is what I'm getting at. Terrence Crawford made it perfectly clear once he aborted mission on these current those active negotiations that was going on between him and Spence, is that he wasn't moving away from the fight negotiations in its totality. He was taking a stay busy fight, and his plan is to revisit Errol Spence after he finished David Avaneysan. That's pretty much what his words was. Now, in order for him to revisit Errol Spence still has to be at the welterweight division with the titles. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb, step one, and say, what benefit is it for Crawford to fight Errol Spence if you don't have all the belts? What benefit is it? You know what I'm saying? He's defending his current title, the WBO Welterweight World Championship, a total of 5 times in the welterweight division. So what benefit would it be for him to fight Errol Spence? Okay, this may be the benefit. Just to pretty much zip up any doubt, shut any lips, and give the fans what they want as far as him and Spence fighting. All right? That's if he chooses to do that without all the belts. Just for bragging rights, boom, let's get it in. We all know that it's a great possibility that Spence may vacate the belts. Why? Because he has some dogs in the chute. The cages are already opening. They're just waiting for the command. You got Jaron Ennis that's in the chute. Does he really want to step in that Errol Spence and get that work from Jaron Ennis before moving up? I don't know. That'll be a tough fight. You know what I'm saying? That'll be a tough fight. And then is other word out there, you know, for the WBA title, I believe. Do he plan on taking these tough fights? Will he even step in the room with Stanthionis? Because we haven't heard any word on when he's going to fight next. If he's in training for the Stanthionis fight. Has anybody looked on BoxRec and see if it's a schedule out there yet? Let me sit up here and do my due diligence. You know what I'm saying? And see what we're looking at. I just want to see, do we know what's going on with Errol Spence? So he don't have any fight scheduled yet for Stanthionis. The why I say that is, most of what we've been talking about is what Crawford actions was going over here with David Avaneysan. But as always, they're not asking what's going on with Spence. As always. This is just the way it is. You remember when Crawford finished with Porter? And we was at the top of the year this year? And Spence supposed to fight Dennis Ugas in April? They was busy talking about, well, Crawford ain't fighting nobody. He should fight Ennis. Crawford ain't fighting nobody. He don't have nothing in plan. Where's the same energy right now? Who is Spence going to fight next? Is he going to vacate? If he's going to vacate, let us know. It's a good possibility Spence may vacate the titles. Not all the titles, because he might still want that payday with Crawford, but instead of facing his mandatories, he may vacate a couple of titles and then take that Crawford fight. It's a possibility he may not have all the titles come 2023. When the buzz start to pick back up and people start talking about, okay, are we going to see Crawford Spence or not? Or is he going to move up to 154, whatever the case may be? We want to know. We got to know what's popping. So it's not far-fetched that Spence may vacate sooner than what you think. Because Team Ennis ain't playing, Ortiz ain't playing, you know, Stanthionis ain't playing. They want that shot. Especially Team Ennis. They want that motherfucking championship, because I don't think Ennis is going to be a welterweight for too long. Seriously, I think he's going to pick up a championship or two if he chooses. I know he's going to pick up one, and then he may be at 154 too. The crazy part about it if he don't get Spence at 147, he may get him at 154. Seriously. Like, just think about the changing of the guard. I talked about this like last year about the changing of the guard. I say the changing of the guard is going to be crazy, man. I said from 35 to 40, 40 to 47, from 47 to 54, it's going to be crazy. It's playing out as we know it. Danny Garcia, part of the old guard of 47, he already moved. Okay? Extract Keith Thurman, Sean Porter. We don't know what they're going to do. Keith Thurman has gave us no indication he's going to move to 154. And then you have Bud Crawford and Spence. Sooner or later, they're going to be at 54. That division is going to be sick. 47 is going to be sick, man. And look, you know it was rumor mill that Ortiz was kind of having problems making weight and all that shit. Look, he may not be at 47. So when you have those fighters coming up, like a Jihad Tucker and all these fighters, it's not too far-fetched that they may be contending for a championship fight at their 13th professional fight, 14 or whatever, 15 professional fight like T.O. It's not far-fetched, man. You ain't lying, need a spit bucket, man. Hey, bro, what's your thoughts on the beef between Eddie Hearns and Mike Hogsard? Watching from the UK, would appreciate a shout. Shout out to Tush. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. Shout out from the Tush. If from the UK across the pond, man. Shout out to the boxing scene over there in the UK, man. To be honest with you, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't really been paying attention to it, but I'm definitely gonna look it up and see what's going on. The one thing about Eddie Hearns, this ain't the first time he had a beef with somebody. That's Eddie Hearns, man. Eddie Hearns, hey, I didn't have a lot of respect at all for the way he did the Deontay Wilder negotiation. That still sits with me. It's an acerbic taste, right? I say, I don't like how they was doing them. Almost just like I feel PBC was trying to do Crawford. You know what I'm saying? They made the negotiation process, and it seems like they made it so difficult that it robbed us of a piece of heavyweight history. It would have been crazy if Deontay Wilder could have fought Anthony Joshua back then. I believe wholeheartedly he would have finished Joshua in around 2 to 3 rounds. And he could have became and added undisputed to his resume. And then we don't even know how the shit would have played out. But they was protecting Joshua, and they didn't allow it to happen. Real talk. Because the only thing, when that $50 million was answered, the stipulations from Wilder was that he wanted the fight to be in the States with no rematch clause, man. He wasn't going to give him $50 million. I'm going to fight you over across the pond. But shout out to Tush, man, UK. Shout out to him. I will do some research on that, bro. Shout out to the UK boxing community in the building. Yeah, I've seen those videos of Leonard rubbing Floyd's chest and equal pride and still, man, come on now. I thought Avaneysan training has WCS tattoo on his face. Then for a minute, nah, I just put that up there for subliminal reasons. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, can we get an interview like this or something? You know what I'm saying? Can we get an interview that provides us information? That's all. They all wanted to shout at Bud too, but what happened? We looking at 15. We coming Team Tucker. No doubt, no doubt. Wilder definitely would have KO AJ. No doubt, for sure. So when it comes to the Spence situation, I truly believe he's going to come off a couple of titles. Now, if I had to tell you or guess which title was going to be first, yeah, I'm looking at Ennis, bro. Ennis is a threat. Ennis is a motherfucking threat. And it also will be a tough fight for Ennis, man. It will be a tough fight for him. Point blank, man. It'll be a tough fight. It'll be a tough fight for Ennis, and it'll be tough fight for Spence. Seriously. Real talk. It'll be a tough fight both ways. But if he had to come off one of those mandatory straps, I'm assuming it's going to be IBF. And then, you know, just like Josh Taylor, then he's going to drop another one. So it is what it is, man. I think it's going to be a bit sooner than what we expected. Like, look at it this way. February is supposed to be, you know, that infamous date where they were supposed to rejoin, you know, to potentially put on a fight in 23. Being that that's such a quick turnaround, I'm scratching that. That's not going to happen. Crawford's not going to go in there, fight Avaneysan the 10th of December, and then just to prove a point, go in there in February. No. And we're talking about the first half of February. So if they was to even fight, we're talking about March, April. We're talking about March or April. Now, if Bud Crawford coming off a fight, right? How do you think his mentality or behavior is going to be once he get paid December to come over there? Like, this shit should be 98% done. But we also have to look at, and any one of y'all can tell me, is it a venue locked on in Vegas? Is it a venue locked on for Vegas in March or April? Because they plan this shit out way ahead of time, okay? They plan and lock on these venues way ahead of time. They're not just making up these schedules 30 days out. That's not the way it works. I wonder if a venue is already locked on for March or April in Vegas. And they don't really tell you what it is. So definitely we got to look at that, being in the 2%. You know what I'm saying? If we get a venue locked on, that's a big part of it. And then when it comes to negotiation, we shouldn't have to really spend a whole lot of time on negotiation, bro. That should be something simple. Man, get it done, over, boom. If not, we'll probably see Errol Spence move up to 154. Real talk. Real talk. Out. Out. Done. IBF, I talked to Pop Ennis. Okay, if it's the IBF, cool. You know, he's definitely coming off that IBF because the truth be told, I don't think he want to step in there and touch gloves with Ennis and try to go to 154 with that. You know what I'm saying? If that fight don't fare well, you know, like I said before, I always give the benefit of the doubt. If Spence going in the feet, drawing Ennis, god damn, and he ain't fought Crawford yet, and that's crazy. That's a lot of you know, hype heading into 54. People gonna be like, shit, I want to fight Spence, or I don't want to fight Spence. You know what I'm saying? Or it might even further build up the fight between Spence and Crawford at 154. But of course, I'm painting a picture that's so far-fetched, man. I don't think he's getting in there. I don't think he's getting in there with boots. He's gonna vacate that IBF, and that's that. We don't have to continue to talk about it. I think he's coming off that IBF first, bro. BIG, what's good? Boots will lose to EJ or Bud, but I would still love to see either of those fight. I tell people he went 6 rounds with Sergey. It's not going to be an easy fight, him stepping in there with Spence, and vice versa. It's not going to be easy, man. Boots is, when it comes to boxing, Boots gives you the total package off the eye test and the technical skill set when it comes down to boxing. He does. Dude is highly talented. That's why you see a lot of channels trying to basically get behind him now and phase out. Like these dudes don't want to have to pick and choose between Errol Spence and Boots. So when they hear me talking about, well, I don't think he'll be fighting Boots, or they hear the word come out talking about Errol Spence may vacate the IBF, that's cool with them, because they want Errol Spence to lead the division so they can hop on the Boots, you know, train. They want that. Boots is young, like 23. They want to start bigging him up like Errol Spence. We got a fresh one. We got a young one now. Boost, 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 boost. I'm telling you, boost, boost, boost. Yeah, yeah, boost. We got another one. You know what I'm saying? This is our premiere. See, I'm telling you, like I said before, right? Boost don't have a Terrence Crawford rivalry. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to be his Terrence Crawford? Who can he build up somewhat of a rivalry with in welterweight division to make it very, very interesting for some future big fights? Who? There's nobody there. Unless somebody step up, in the bottom half or somebody step up in the top half of the ranking system and give us that fight, man. I don't see him having a rivalry, though. See, both Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford on the pound-for-pound list. You know what I'm saying? They're the welterweights on the pound-for-pound list. For a long time, they was the only two fighters in the same division that was on the pound-for-pound list. Who's going to be Boots' rivalry, and how much can he get accomplished and move the needle at 147 before he outgrow the division? Because just because he's 23, his metabolism may be still, pretty fast or whatever. He's a big 47 pounder, man. It's gonna be a matter of time before he had to catch the elevator up. Seriously, there's a date at the MGM early March, but I think that is the Canelo fight. Okay, all right, appreciate it. I'm just asking because is it one for February though? Because to be honest, I don't think that fight is even close to being made. You know what I'm saying? For February. I don't think Bud will come out of there in Omaha. If he come out of there and beat Avaneysan and then step in there with Spence, step on him, oh my God. He pretty much have the pick of whatever he chooses to do at 54 when he get there. They're going to be like, dang, he fought Avaneysan, then it ain't going to happen, bro. I don't think he's going to do it. I'm not saying he can't do it. I don't think he's going to do it. Spence don't even like sparring them young killers. Ask Brian Norman. Yeah, for real. Hey, I told him Showtime. He went out to Texas, but he didn't get no Spence work. But hey, once again, Crawford came down here to Atlanta. Crawford didn't have no problem. He sparred Tiger Johnson, Richardson Hitchens, Brian Norman Jr. He ain't had no problem. But when you go up there to Texas Alcatraz, you know what I'm saying? You go to the Texas Alcatraz, Texas Rikers, you're going to get the Marvelous Jarvis. How you doing, Marvelous? I heard a lot about you. You made your rounds on YTC that time. You say that arrow hit you so hard that you was feeling it for 2 rounds. Man, that's an amazing story, man. Hey, before we get started, can you do a skit for us? Do that Beat It skit. I love that Beat It skit. It was so funny. I love that Beat It skit you did. It was hilarious. Marvelous. Ooh. Here's the junior welterweight right now, Polo Torn Russell. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That 40, man. 40 is going to be crazy. When the part of the transition has already happened. We don't know what Devin Haney is going to do next. You know what I'm saying? But the transition has happened. Shakur Stevenson has made his way up to 35. Keyshawn's up there. Javante's right there. Loma. You know what I'm saying? Then what the fuck Ryan Garcia got going on? You know what I'm saying? Him and Tank's supposed to fight at a alleged catch weight of 136. You feel me? So, well, let's see how that works out. He's supposed to fight an alleged catch weight of 136 now. But we got G. Russell, Subriel Matias, Jose Cepeda, Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor. Who else is down there? Teofimo Lopez. 40 is hot. And then you probably have Devin Haney moving up there sooner or later after we figure out, is he going to fight Lomachenko or Vacat? Because we don't know what's going to happen this week. You know what I'm talking about? We don't know. We don't know. See, this is how finicky boxing is, right? They'll sit up there and say some shit like, well, in order for us to get Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, you know, Ugas Ugas might mess up everything. That's what they were saying. Ugas Ugas might mess up everything. He might beat Errol Spence. He might do this, this, and this. Well, I wonder if Jermaine Ortiz is getting that same love. I haven't heard it, but I know it got to be some channels out there. I wonder if Jermaine Ortiz has been said, hey, he might mess up the future plans if he go ahead and defeat Lomachenko. It's not impossible. He just went the distance with Richard Comey. It's not impossible, man. Jermaine Ortiz has to be on his A game. You know what I'm saying? He has to shine like T.O. did. He got to shut the old man down. Lomachenko is a fight or two from taking his fourth loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn, Charlie. I mean, it's third. Whatever, how many losses he got. You know what I'm saying? It's only a matter of time, bro. I think he stay at 35. He's going to stay there regardless. He ain't moving up to 40. I don't know, man. He got a lot of tread on him. The history is there from the amateurs. Bud is chilling after December. Why rush back after getting 8 figures? Yeah, for sure. But you know what it is, Showtime, right? Is that with Bud can't take that rest and be peaceful unless he don't check social media. Because look, Errol Spence can go into the new year and don't have a fight lined up. They're not going to be worried about Spence. They're going to say, he deserves that. He fought Ugas in April. He deserves time off. Well, hell, look at goddamn Bud. He damn near has 16 months off. What the hell? You know what I'm saying? They're going to always focus on Bud. He had 24 months off, goddamn it. He got to fight. But they weren't saying shit about freaking Manny Pacquiao when he was out. They didn't say shit about Yoda Murata when he was out. But goddamn, they count every waking day of when Crawford's out the ring. You trying to tell me he can't wait to 2023 and make this fight happen? You know what I'm saying? They always talk about, well, you see how long Errol Spence was out before he came back and fought Danny Garcia, but yet they won't talk about the 12 days that was in between when he fought Sean Porter and when he had the accident. It was so close to the fight that these people don't even think about that. They just say, oh, he had an accident and he was out. He came back and fought Danny Garcia. They don't even know it was so close to him winning that Sean Porter fight that he had the accident. So you can't really compare what's going on with Bud being out of the ring. The good thing I like is he's not sitting on his motherfucking hands without using them in the ring the rest of this year. He's got a fight coming up. I like it. Third. Okay. Appreciate it. So Lomachenko, third loss. He lost to Lando Salido and lost to T.O. See, I'm thinking, he might have called another L somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko about to call an L when he was asleep, dog. You know what I'm saying? High reward, low risk. Ennis Thurman, Stanthionis. Who is it going to be? True. We definitely looking to see what the former unified champion Thurman would do. I think a lot of people are curious about Stanthionis. They feel that he's a tough go for anybody. But Ennis is definitely the man right now. Everybody's waiting to take that big fight. Like, anybody on his resume worth talking. Except Sergey Lipkin. Talk about Custio Clayton. It's pointless. But look, this is what's going to happen. If somehow, some way a miracle happened and he finds his freaking Terrence Crawford somewhere somehow, then we're gonna start hearing the freaking debates talking about resumes. Cause Jaron Ennis has a lot of fights. Now those fights may not have been against the best competition, but from Sergey Lipinets on to Thomas Delorme and Custio Clayton, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Former champion, it's okay. It's all right. I would like to see that too. But see, this is where it's going to come into play, right? I'm going to tell you how this is going to play out. And Showtime know where I'm going with this shit too. I swear to everything, if that name was starting to come up with 10 wins, and the people start talking about, hey man, we want to see Jahad Tucker versus Jaron Ennis. Oh my God, dog. He ain't fought nobody. But look, they're not going to look at it. If you want to talk about quality opposition, Jaron Ennis is 3-0. Real talk. Jaron Ennis is 3-0. If I really choose to be petty, if you want to talk about him supposedly, we can even take one off of that. We can say he's 2-0 when it comes to pretty decent competition. So if they're gonna say Jahad Tucker ain't fought nobody, then still we can hold his record with supposedly fighters that ain't nobody and compare it to Jaron Ennis somebody's. So they pretty close. If we're talking about having a former world champion on there, if you're talking about a former world champion, he's 1-0. You know what I'm saying? He's 1-0. So, man, if they start talking about that talk, man, they'll definitely be tuned in to Showtime shit now. They're tuning in his channel because they're gonna be hating like a motherfucker. Oh my God, he's not still linked up over there, is he? Oh my God, man, he's an upstart. Nobody's paying attention. But Jahad's 11-0 now. Who has he fought? He's not ready for Jaron. Jaron has 33, 35, 40 fights. Oh, man. He's not ready. I'm telling you that. Hey, I call Jahad dance hall, goddammit. Jahad Tucker is the dance hall. Real talk. They low-key hating on Bud. Man, they ain't low-key hating on Bud. They high-key hating on him. They high-key. There ain't nothing low about it. They let their feelings be known. They don't like the man. Yeah, I hear that coming up. It is what it is. That's who he fighting, cool. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him. Butiev, Spence versus Thurman, Stantionis versus Virgil. I mean, how's Spence is going to remain at 47 and not face Stantionis? How is that possible? Stantionis is already given, step aside money. Why would he want to blow the opportunity to step in there with Spence? I wouldn't want to. I respect Bud because he spars them young killers from day one. Yeah, he does, man. He does. Real talk. He does. He said Boots only beat 2 top 50 fighters. Now, I have to say this. Bad dog. We know who one of them is, right? Who is the second one that you're speaking on? Top 50. Who's the second one? And then I have another question. Just tell me who the second top 50 fighter you're talking about. Just let me know. Cause I have another question to that. Who's the second fighter you're speaking on? Max on deck. What's good? Rashida Ellis' name is out there too. You know, he had a fight early this year. You know what I'm saying? Are people calling for Rashida Ellis versus Ennis? I'm pretty sure they'll look at it. Real talk. The man is 24-0. Real talk. He got the numbers. He's just outside of 30 years old. He got the numbers. You know, when it comes to the resume, he got the numbers. Jerron is 29-0, 27 knockouts. I mean, the record itself is dressed up real nice with a bow tie. For real. You know, 29-0, 27 knockouts. You know, got that Deontay Wilder snick to it. Like, okay. You know, he fought early this year, of course. 19-0 Custio Clayton. You know what I'm saying? Round 2. And that's why I was asking Max. I say, who's the other top 50? Because Custio Clayton obviously came in there with orders, and he didn't do nothing. Real talk, he didn't do jack, bro. He didn't do nothing. We're not even talking about Thomas DeLore, man. He did absolutely zero, man. We can't even really talk about shit, right? Like, we can't really talk about Chris Van Heerden either, because that shit ended in a headbutt. People were really curious on how that fight was going to play out. Can't say Boots has only fought those that would get in there with him. Where's the list of those in the top 50 that turned the Boots fight down? Of course, I agree. I agree with that. But we can't really look at it like that because it is what it is, man. And plus, you got to look at Boots, too, when he was locked in with Chris Menendorf and Victory Boxing Promotion. You know, there's a lot of legality going on there that he had to kind of wait till that shit die down and get cleared up in the court to be able to fight. So I ain't knocking Team Ennis, man. You know, now they spreading their wings. They're signed to the network, and we're ready to see the big fights. Them ordering the IBF, cool, man. I like it. Them ordering that shit, yes, sir. Why not? But I don't hear the Spencerholics, man, giving that same rah about that. They quiet as I don't know what, man. They're like a hummingbird. You know what I'm saying? They're not really speaking about Jerron Ennis and Errol Spence Jr. They busy up here talking about Crawford. The fighter that don't know what he's doing with business. You know, saying he ducked. I love to hear when these channels, right, they'll sit up here and try to say, well, Crawford, he's doing this, and his fans are the same way. You know, I can't be mad at him because, you know, it's a lot of Crawford supporters that basically put all the Spence fans together too. Hey, I've been guilty of that too, dog. Shit. But right now, near the end of the year, it ain't shit to talk about when it comes to Spence Crawford. The shit is over. You know what I'm saying? Avaneysan coach came on here and they cleared up a lot. He wasn't playing the field, doing negotiation, and it goes against the grain for what Dan Raphael was saying. Dan Raphael said he had the contract, and obviously he was in negotiations doing all that. Okay. I don't know. But if it's up to me, I'm going with he wasn't playing the field. I believe Avaneysan rather than I believe Raphael. Believe it or not. Because he's with the team. Raphael is not. He even said he received it from a source. So if you received it from a source, I'm looking at the guy who's actually on the team that was a part of the negotiation process. That's what it is. So I'm gonna look at it like Team Crawford. Handle it with, you know, proper etiquette. They wasn't fishing, you know, while they was in negotiations with Spence. And even though they was in very, very shallow waters with that negotiation, I'm glad it played out the way it did. Fuck it. Move on. You know, set up another fight. Lock in the date. And let's get it in. Now, I do have to speak on this, though, which was kind of irritating. I just want Adrian Broner. You know, I mentioned the other day, right? Because it was very little information. I thought Adrian may be fighting on the undercard of Terrence Crawford. And then I seen the video, because this is like a month or so. I mean, this is very close. We almost at the end of October. So I was saying to myself, well, maybe he's fighting on the undercard of Crawford. And I said, no, that's not. There's no way that can happen. I saw how he looked when he was in there with Blue. I said, no, he's not in shape right now to do that. Hell no, not 140. And then it was very little information given until I heard Adrian Broner say, I'm going to fight after him. Adrian said, I'm going to fight after him. So after him, I know for a fact he wasn't going to be the main event in Omaha. Okay, let's be real. We're not on crack here. We're not doing crack. We're not doing coke. You know what I'm saying? So we know for damn sure Adrian Broner wasn't talking about headlining the card in Omaha when it came to Terrence Crawford. So he said, okay, I'm going to fight after him. So peep this out where I'm going with it. So when I heard Blue talking to 78, you know, he was like, yeah, we set up a date. We set up a date here. He's just once again, we don't know the dates. But we're going to take it as if it's going to be next year. No doubt about it. But it would be good if we knew a roundabout way when this information would be let out to us on when Adrian Broner is going to step back in the ring. And we already know the numbers, so to speak, right? They signed him to like a multi-fight deal, 10 million. So if we know the 10 million, why can't we have an idea who he's going to fight? We know it's not going to be Omar Figueroa anymore. That's done. Who is it going to be, man? Tell us something. Jesus Christ. Tell us something, man. Tell us something. That's all we're saying. Tell us some type of information that we can run with. That's it. Tell us some type of information. That's cool. I'm kind of exhausted trying to figure out, you know, what's going to happen. But shout out to my guy, Teofimo Lopez, man. He's about to battle Jose Pedraza on December 10th in New York City. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Teofimo Lopez goes without saying, 17-1, 13 knockouts. Man, he's very, very entertaining. You know, he will be contending against Jose Pedraza, 29-4-1, 14 knockouts. I'm pretty much really looking forward to seeing him compete again, man. Very entertaining fight. This article is out from Boxing News that they're talking about majority of the boxing community wasn't aware of the existence of a company known as BLK Prime. All right. Okay. A lot of what is going on in the YouTube community is providing them free exposure. And this is where I talk about the levels of professionalism. Real talk, if I was in Blue's position, I would send a request out to other channels to talk about or do lives about BLK. But for me, I'm being totally honest. It's almost like that's not where he's trying to go. He want to take everything. It's more so, let's keep all the energy on him. Let's keep all the dang news breaking about $1 million this, $1 million that. I didn't tell nobody. They didn't know I was coming type of environment. I would be asking, especially in the LDBC, I'll be asking them to do lives on the BLK. If he's the one that's supposed to be the front runner and the facilitator, we don't supposed to have shit out here like this for Adrian Broner. You know what I'm saying? Like, the news is already out. So this is not even anything hating or anything, but when I get these press releases, right, and I get them from Probellum, I get them from Split T Management, I get all these press releases on fighters that are signed. They send this shit out. They send it out, man. Do what you want with it. We send it out. So-and-so is signed. This fighter is signed. That fighter is signed. But all this wait and speculation and surprise, man, I think a lot of us is done past the freaking birthday party. You know, who's in the clown suit who's in the birthday cake type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Just tell us what's up next so we can talk about it. That's it. But reading this article, they're talking about majority of the boxing community wasn't aware of the existence of a company known BOK Prime. But now the new player in the fight game has made headlines by striking deals with the man who is at the top of the pound for pound rankings, which would be Terrence Crawford, and another man who is a former world champion in 4 weight divisions, which is Adrian Broner. You know? So they go on to talk about, in a shocking turn of events on October 20th, Terrence Crawford confirmed to the ESPN that he has signed a contract to fight WBO number 6 ranked contender David Avaneysan, 29-3-1, 17 by way of knockout. It's cool. The announcement caught everyone off guard because they was fixated on the Spence Crawford fight, and they had no knowledge of the existence of BOK Prime. The December 10th event featuring Terrence Crawford will mark the first time the platform will stream a professional boxing event. Now, pay very, very astute attention to this. Would be the first time the platform will stream a professional boxing event. Just like we witnessed in Arizona with Tevin Farmer and Mickey Bay, when it comes down to ticket purchase and pay-per-view purchase, they definitely need the servers, the database, you know what I'm saying, chiefs, whoever's going to be running all that shit, to make sure it flows through smoothly. Because it's going to be a lot of people, especially it's in Crawford's hometown, that's going to want to purchase this fight for $39.99. All right? Unlike the Arizona situation, people weren't able to get in. So we're hoping and praying that they have worked out all the kinks and we're able to get people to access the pay-per-view without any type of conflict, problems, hiccups, glitches, and watch the fight the entire time. People ain't purchasing the fight and then it doesn't allow them to access the fight once it come on. It's a lot, man. This shit is a long ways to go, man. They say BOK Prime is a Silicon Valley based tech company that has been in existence for 5 years, and they have streamed several non-professional bouts. All right. At first glance, it seemed like Crawford and streaming service had a one-time deal in which Terrence Crawford gains leverage for the negotiations with Spence. And BOK Prime finally received notoriety as a figure in the background of boxing promotion landscape. The perception of BOK Prime has quickly changed from a company trying to be a prospect to a platform striving to become a major contender. 5 days after announcing their allegiance to Terrence Crawford. I like that. Allegiance to Terrence Crawford. I don't see anybody else's name in there. Anyway, moving forward. BOK Prime announced the signing of former 4 Division world champion Adrian Broner. The signing of Adrian Broner has shaken up the boxing community because it represents a motion that reflects how BOK Prime is attempting to establish its position in the fight game. During a recent interview with FightHype, Adrian Broner confirmed the strategic move. I think with myself, with my About Billions brand and BOK Prime, I think we're going to take over boxing. And we're going to reach heights that never been done before. And it's all going to start with my stablemate from Nebraska, Terrence Crawford. The deal with Terrence Crawford is big, but the Broner signing could produce the evolution of BOK Prime. Adrian Broner, 34-4-1, 24 knockouts, is a former 4 Division world champion. Let's see. Let's see. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. We're going to see how that all pans out. We're hoping nothing but the best in these endeavors that's coming up. Real talk. We're hoping nothing but the best, shawty. So, let me go on to this next one, right? I'm going through some various topics. You're gonna laugh at this right here. You're gonna laugh. Recent news has broke about the Conor Ben situation. We already know that his A sample came back dirty, right? Dirty means tested positive for banned substance. Now, Eddie Hearn suggests that his B sample, what I tell you, his B sample is contaminated. So, if by chance his B sample is contaminated, from my understanding, it may free him from liability of his A sample being dirty. I don't know, man. It said Eddie Hearns believes there could be contamination during the testing of Conor Benn that resulted in his positive test for the banned drug clomiphene in the lead up to his canceled fight with Eubanks Jr. You know what I'm saying? Hearns say he's confident that the 26-year-old Ben, 21-0, 14 knockouts, is innocent, and he'll soon be speaking to the media about his case. If they are implying and can prove that his B sample is contaminated, this will erase his positive test, period. Therefore, potentially leading for him and Eubanks to fight sometime up the line. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but sometime up the line, yes, it's going to happen. Man, they want to sit up here and act like boxing don't have no hidden doors, man. No trick doors. No trap doors, rather, for real. Big Blunt said, I got TO by UD. I got TO by stoppage, bro. I got TO by stoppage, man. For real, I got TO by stoppage. He looks stronger. He looks solid. His movement, everything, bro. I got him stopping. I got him stopping him, bro. I got him stopping him. Now, this is a good topic. Ben came up off his license. It also say with the Ben situation, it said Hearns stated that Ben's B sample collected by VADA will likely be the same as the A sample. Of course, that doesn't mean that contamination still didn't occur during the testing procedure that was done in the laboratory. Now, it's highly possible it might have been contaminated. Highly possible. It also could have got contaminated from the handling of the samples. You know, the chain of custody is a certain procedure. However it is, good Lord, bro. It's highly possible that contamination can happen internal to the lab. It's highly possible. It say the levels in this amount surrounded by the other testing that took place will lead to suggestion of contamination of some kind in his test, said Eddie Hearns. And this is what Michael Benson put out. It says statement from the BBOC, the boxing board of British, on the Conor Benn, of control rather, on the Conor Benn situation. Ben gave up his license prior to a hearing at which the board upheld misconduct allegations against him. The board upheld misconduct allegations. Man, they love, man, what, boy, them Benns, boy, they got some clout over there, don't they? The British Boxing Board of Control statement. By a notice dated 17 October 2022, Mr. Conor Benn was called by the board of BBOC to attend a hearing to deal with allegations of misconduct pursuant to Rule 25.1.1. The hearing took place on 21st October 2022. On the morning of the hearing, Mr. Benn voluntarily relinquished his license with the BBOC. In accordance with it, rules and regulations, the board determined the allegations following the hearing at which Mr. Benn was legally represented. The allegations of misconduct against Mr. Benn were upheld, y'all. It was upheld. Y'all know what that means. I say everything in the results of this lead to contamination. When I talk about contamination, contamination can happen in the lab. Contamination can happen by various different means during the process. Boy, they got some pull over there, boy. Eddie Hearn. Sometimes you want to have Eddie Hearns close, and sometimes you want to have him far away and you can't see him. It goes on to say the B sample will only come back necessarily negative if there's been a mistake or contamination in the laboratory. Once again, the B sample will only come back necessarily negative if there's been a mistake or contamination in the laboratory. It's the same sample, so 99.9% of the time, the B sample will be exactly the same. It's been requested. I would expect it to come back positive as well. That's another reason why I believe he's innocent, said Hearns about the absence of excuse by Ben. The easy way out in a situation for Conor Ben is to come up with an excuse that will either get him off the hook or give him a shorter suspension. They're trying to work their magic over there. He doesn't want to lie in this situation. I've had these conversations with him in the office a dozen times with his dad, with Tony Sims. They've been emotional. They've been violent. They've been all these different things. And I believe this young man, whether it's because I have scientific information that you don't, that's just how I feel. So I give him the chance and he'll come before you guys. But ultimately, he still has to explain himself. The results are the results, and we have to get to the bottom of it. Damn. That's very, very interesting, people. I ain't gonna lie to you. That just goes to show you how boxing works. Like, wow. The two-step shuffle, bro. It's all about who you connected to. You know what I'm saying? They got clout over there. I'm not saying it's a point where Ben's not going to get suspended. But they're trying to drive it home with all the loopholes, man. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to find every area that they can use for their advantage, man, during this process. If they are somehow, some way able to say, okay, yeah, we proved that it was contaminated because it was necessarily, man, the language is incredible. That's crazy. Incredible. Ben already relinquished his boxing license. Ben is forever stained like cinnamon. Is cinnamon stained? Shit. Is cinnamon stained? Because he was supposed to be a part of a $100 million deal for sacrifice. He was about to have 2 sacrificial lambs and make a whole boatload of money for that shit. Is he really stained? You know, when it comes to Canelo, goddamn, people don't talk about that shit like that. They talk about, oh, well, who is he going to fight next? How much money he's going to make? How much money he's going to make? Who he's going to fight next? Well. Jamal Charlo, they talking about him returning to the ring. I'm just befuddled. I'm just befuddled at what Marcelo is planning on doing. You know what I'm saying? Is it going to be Carlos Adames? Who's he going to fight? Who's he going to fight? Man, Broner is out here more than Crawford. Like Broner, look, just think about this. Recently, he was on here for pulling out the Omar Figueroa fight. People was dogging the shit out of him. And then he gets signed with BLK Prime. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I told people, when it comes to Broner, man, his persona, people still fuck with him. People still fucks with Broner, man. He's all over the media, bro. You know what I'm saying? He come on here and say some shit that people just shake their head, but that's him. He don't change up. He don't change up, but I'm going to be honest with you. Like, he really has to come back and fight somebody of significant importance when it comes to boxing. He can't come on here and just fight anybody, bro. We need to fight somebody that we're saying, okay, that was a good test. That's a good test for him. Let's go. But, man, that's it with it for now. Thanks for everybody for pulling up. You already know, man. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. Support the channel. I just don't say that. Support the channel, man. Sub to it, pass the word and everything else. Hopefully you got some clarification I'm really trying to set some up, man. It's gonna be difficult, but I'm really trying to set up an interview, right? So I'm not gonna say anything until I actually tie it down. It's a difficult interview to get to, but I'm really trying to get this interview. In the meanwhile, man, y'all continue. Make sure you got the notification bell icon, and tune in for the next one, man. You know what I'm saying? Until next time, I'm out.